Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 27 Minutes here on WJTS UPN 27. This past week, Tony Frick stopped in on Huntingburg Mayor Gail Kemp to get a progress report on the city sidewalks in the downtown area.
The funds of a sidewalk enhancement grant are starting to take concrete and brick form in downtown Huntingburg. Herb and guttering are going in, and 2 blocks of the 6 blocks are torn out. The bricks are awaiting the hands of pavers next week, and Mayor Gail Kemp took time to give us a progress report before donning his hard hat to check out the day's work.
We're moving along pretty good. The project is going smoother than I had thought. I was really concerned when we start tearing out sidewalks so we would find a lot of things we were unprepared for, but that hasn't happened. There have been a few things in there that have been a little more like a learning experience as to how this should be done, but it's coming along pretty well. The contractors and the folks in the city were working very closely together and working well. All in all, I'm pretty pleased with the progress. There have been no really surprises or major problems uncovered, so to speak, when we tore up the sidewalks. What has been, we've taken care of, and it's very pleasing to work with these gentlemen from Regal. They and our city crews are getting along very well, and we're working together to assure a good, smooth transition on this project.
Construction was not without some bumps, as both the city and local businesses had to address a few pipe issues along the way.
That does depend. There are not very many of the businesses that require new water lines. Most of them have changed to a copper line over the years. There are a few, we've identified those that still have lead or galvanized. 1 or 2 did not have service in the front of their building, and they're putting that in. So the cooperation on this has been really good. When the sidewalk's taken out, those who still have lead or galvanized will be replacing those with copper. What we don't want is to have to do it after the sidewalk's been installed. We did find an old fuel tank at the intersection of 4th and Geiger. We called IDEM. They gave us permission to remove that tank, which was only full of water. And we pumped that into the sanitary sewer. The tank was removed, backfilled with flowable fill concrete, and that's out of the way.
They're laying sewer pipes down on the other end.
Yes.
And you had to move the city pipes, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. One of the things, and one of the parts of this project, on the portion of 4th Street between Main and Geiger, we have never had a storm sewer which intercepted the water, which come out of the alley to the north in the middle of the block. And we're going to be installing a 8-inch storm sewer which will pick up the water to help divert it from turning and going toward Main Street. But more importantly, we've always had an outlet there which water stood in. We'll be able to intercept that water, and that'll dry up. And that water will be taken across 4th Street to the south side and then due west to Geiger, and it'll intercept the storm sewer at that point. There was a conflict when that line will be installed with a water line, and we've had to move the water line by lowering it somewhat. A very simple project, and one of those things that you find in an old city and you don't know where everything's at.
Okay.
The water department came in and did that, but it's finished.
We staying on budget?
Yeah, it appears we're going to be pretty close on budget. There have been a few things that were left off of the bid form, which we're going to have to address, which will cause it to go up. But there have been no changes or anything which have created any increases in the budget. Or if they are, they're very small.
This is all through a grant, correct?
Well, the grant, and I forgot the exact amount, is the substantial portion of this. The city is contributing 20%, and there will be some things we'll be doing, for example, on our utility work to correct utility problems or move some things that are not part of the grant. But for the pavers and the sidewalks and all of that, the curb and gutter, that's covered in the grant.
See, the bricks are there. They're about ready to lay on this block.
The pavers have come in. They came in this morning. They look good, and look forward to seeing them when they're actually in place and the pattern of the sidewalk begins to develop.
Before leaving City Hall, we asked Mayor Kemp when the project is expected to be done.
I project we'll take every day that's in the calendar to do that. I think we had 85 working days, and my guess it'll still take 85 working days.
The mayor noted that the merchants have been supportive and they have been keeping the stores open. Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
Stay tuned. We will have more 27 minutes after this. Dang it, this prompter's not working, bud. That's all right. Wait a second. Don't want to break it, but it's not working. Welcome back. Almost all the area Relay for Life fundraising events have been completed for another year. Ryan Christopher reports on a unique way to raise money for Relay for Life in Paoli.
Orange County jailer Frankie Lynn became a celebrity last Wednesday as he mowed the Orange County Courthouse lawn in an interesting outfit. Lynn had made a bet with fellow jailers and dispatchers that they would not be able to raise $1,000 for the Relay for Life Cancer Fund.
The challenge was to raise $1,000 for Relay for Life, Cancer Society, and I issued it to them, and they raised it up in one day, so I had to come out here and mow the yard.
Lynn was given a police escort to the courthouse lawn in Paoli, where he then stripped down to his spandex bottoms and put on his cowboy boots, jailer hat, and of course his gun belt, and proceeded to mow the lawn to the theme of Bad Boys. A crowd of local fans were on hand to witness the event for a very good cause. Afterwards, I asked Lynn what he thought of the attention he received from the bet.
What are all these people thinking about me mowing this yard?
When asked if he would make a challenge to his fellow jailers and dispatchers next year, Lynn had this to say.
Yeah, if challenged right and raise enough money, I will, yeah.
In all, the Relay for Life patrons were able to exceed over $2,500, well above the goal Lynn provided for the team. Reporting for WJTS News, I'm Ryan Christopher.
We'll be right back. It's now time for the Today's Homeowner Tip of the Week, brought to you by Crep Lumber Company in Jasper.
If you have ceramic on a floor at your house, especially in a bathroom area like this, you're bound to have some stains in the grout lines. Now, some people think you can take new grout and just veneer over the old grout to take care of the problem, but it really won't stick to that old grout. A good solution is grout stain. It's available in a lot of different colors that'll match the grout in your house, and it's available at home centers and a lot of flooring stores as well. Basically, all you do is to shake it up real well and make sure your existing joints are good and clean. Then just take a simple brush, similar to a painter's brush, an artist's brush, put a little on it, and you really don't have to be real careful. You just evenly spread it over the grout joint. And if you get a little on the ceramic, it's okay, because you can leave it on there up to 2 hours before you come back with a clean rag and just wipe it down. Now, this is a good way to really revitalize a ceramic floor and maybe a good weekend project for you.
One of the hot topics around the area has been the recent increase in gas prices.
This Saturday, July 1st, Governor Frank O'Bannon's use of the 1981 state energy emergency statute will go into effect. A few weeks ago, prices nationwide rose nearly 9 cents per gallon and even 15 cents per gallon in the Midwest. Gasoline stocks in the Midwest are down 13.6% from a year ago, and crude oil stocks in the United States at their lowest point in a decade. The higher gas prices have placed a heavy burden on businesses that depend on affordable and readily available supply of gasoline and other fuels to deliver their services. Governor O'Bannon's suspension of the 5% gas sales tax is expected to save motorists between 7 to 10 cents per gallon. It is felt as the crossroads of America, transportation is critical to Indiana's economy. During the statute's enforcement, investigators will monitor gas prices in every county, looking for any hint of unfair pricing. Even so, 4th of July travelers, vacationers, and motorists driving throughout the state are offered some fuel efficiency tips to get the most for their money from those rising gasoline costs by the governor's office. They include such reminders as avoid fast starts, which waste fuel and stress the car's engine. Keep your vehicle's tires properly inflated. Routinely get your oil changed. That could be every 3,000 miles for most automobiles. Keep your windows rolled up to reduce the amount of wind resistance to your vehicle. Check your vehicle's octane rating in your owner's manual to make sure you are using the proper grade of gasoline. And lighten up. Do not haul excessive cargo in your vehicle because it makes your car heavier and requires more gasoline. Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
We will check in on the Jasper Wildcat baseball tournament run when we come back. In sports, Terry Gobert and the Jasper Wildcat baseball program won their 4th state title in the last 5 years last Saturday night at beautiful Victory Field against the Plymouth Pilgrims. Here's a look back at that exciting tournament trail that the Wildcats followed. The Wildcats started sectional play by hosting Archival Vincennes Lincoln at Rookser Field. The Wildcats scored 3 runs in the very first inning after 2 straight Lincoln airs to start the contest. Neil Giesler hit a 2 RBI double. A couple of batters later, Brandon John hit a ball off pitcher Mitch Prout's leg that bounced behind first base. That scored a run. The Cats got 2 more in the second. Giesler again came through with a great at bat that resulted in a 2 RBI single. The Wildcats came through with 2 more in the bottom of the 5th inning as the Wildcats took advantage of 2 more Alice errors on stolen base attempts. Phil Schwank was sharp on the mound. He went 6 innings, giving up 4 hits while striking out 7 to get his 8th win of the season. Mark Seger pitched the 7th. Once again, the Wildcats beat Vincennes Lincoln 7-1. Jasper pounded Washington 12-2 in 6 innings in the semifinals of the 3A sectional. The Cats scored first in the top of the first when Phil Schwank knocked in Neil Giesler with the single. Jasper scored 2 in the second with Chris Schmidt and Reggie Hayes bunting in runs in the frame. The big inning, though, for Jasper was the 3rd when they put up a 5 spot. Phil Schwank hit his first triple of the season, a shot to dead center field. Ross Sheeter also had an RBI triple to right field in the inning as well. Jasper scored 3 in the 5th. Jason Wolf, who had 3 hits on the game, singled. Ross Sheeter doubled before Chris Schmidt singled home 2 more. Matt Kiefer also had an RBI single. The Cats get a run in the 6th as Jason Wolf plated a run with a single. Phil Schwank got the win on the mound. The senior right-hander went the first 3 without giving up a hit. Andrew Krieger and Cale Canese finished off the hatches on 2 hits for the game. Once again, it was Jasper 12, Washington 2. The Cats were now into the championship game against Gibson Southern. Jasper, once again, the visiting team, and they score first with 1 run in the second inning. Brandon John doubled and was knocked home by Chris Schmidt's single. Jasper scored 3 in the third. Jason Wolf's 2 RBI single was the big hit in that inning. The Cats then explode for 7 in the top of the fourth. Neil Giesler, who had 4 hits on the night, singled home 2 to start the inning. Phil Schwank then followed that up with a 2 RBI double. The next batter was Ben Schmidt, who roped an opposite field home run to right field, his 3rd bomb of the season, to make it 10-0 Wildcats. 1 batter later, Brandon John played long ball. BJ's shot was to dead center field. It was John's 3rd of the season. The Titans pick up a run in the bottom of the 4th before the Cats closed their scoring. In the 5th, Neil Giesler knocked home Reggie Hayes and Matt Kiefer. Jasper pounded out 15 hits in the game. While Wildcat bats were sizzling, the Titans could only muster up 5 hits against junior right-hander Mark Sager. Jasper wins the 5-inning game 13-1 for their 11th straight sectional crown. Jasper pounded Madison 10-2 in the much-anticipated regional showdown at Rooksor Field. The Cats started the scoring in the 3rd. They get 3 runs. Phil Schwank walked to start the inning. Ben Schmidt reached on an air, then Brandon John hit a ball up the middle for a 2 RBI single. John later scored on an RBI triple by Chris Schmidt, and the Cats were on their way. They get 2 more in the 3rd as Matt Kiefer doubled to start the inning. Jason Wolf had a big RBI single in the frame as well. Jasper then scored 3 more in the 4th. Matt Kiefer ripped an RBI single. Neil Giesler then singled, as did Phil Schwank, who knocked in a run. The Cats then played long ball for their final 2 runs of the game. Brandon John scorched an opposite field homer to right field before Ross Sheeter cranked a home run to right field as well to close the scoring. It was Sheeter's 3rd home run of the season. Madison added a 2-run homer from Chris Bass in the bottom of the 7th, but that's all that Phil Schwank would give up. The senior right-hander fired a 6-hitter. Jasper goes to the regional championship game with a 10-2 win over Madison. In the championship game, Jasper unloaded on Mount Vernon 15-3 in 6 innings to win the 3A regional at Rooksor Field. Mount Vernon scored first in the bottom of the 1st to take a 1-0 lead. After that, it was all Jasper. They tied it in the top of the 2nd as Phil Schwank singled, went to 2nd on an air by the center fielder. Then Brandon John doubled to right field. The Cats get 3 in the 3rd inning. They play little ball as Reggie Hayes had a bunt single. So did the next hitter, Matt Kiefer. Neil Giesler then gets an RBI single. Then with 2 outs, Ben Schmidt adds a single to get Kiefer home to make it 4-1 Wildcats. Mount Vernon cuts it to 4-2 in the bottom of the 3rd. Then Mount Vernon makes it a 4-3 game in the bottom of the 4th on a solo homer by Dwayne Lawrence. Jasper then starts the rout. They hit Mount Vernon with a 5-run salvo. They chase starter Brian Rieger. Then Jay Bell, the Mount Vernon ace, could only last a 1/3 of an inning as the Cats get 5 hits in the inning. Hayes and Kiefer again get bunt singles to start the inning. Neil Giesler hits a sacrifice fly to right before Ben Schmidt hits a line drive rope home run to left field, his 4th of the season. Brandon John then singles up the middle before Jason Wolf hits a towering bomb to left field for his 1st round tripper of the season. A 2-run shot, and the Cats win up 9-3. Jasper added 6 more in the 6th. Neil Giesler had an RBI double after Hayes dropped down his 3rd bunt single of the game. After Phil Schwank was hit by a pitch and Ben Schmidt walked, Brandon John went opposite field for the 2nd straight game, a 3-run home run, his 5th of the season. In the game, Jasper had 15 hits on the night, and Terry Gobert loved to see that offensive production once again.
I thought we did a good job of taking what they gave us, and that's if it's a pitch away, we drove it that way, or, we really have been trying to work on when the pitcher does make a mistake, you got to hammer it. And early in the year, we were taking that pitch, it'd be a belt fastball, and we'd watch it. And so we're doing a better job of recognizing what pitch to hit, and, they've worked very hard on it. It's not an accident, and I'm just really proud of the way they attacked the ball instead of trying to hit tentatively, and I think that was a key as well.
Mark Sager picked up his 9th win of the season on the mound. He goes the distance, giving up 6 hits. Jasper now 28-6 and on to the state semifinals. Coach Gobert said this team has come on.
you look at a team and you realize it's capable. Any team, I think, that plays good, sound baseball will always have a chance. You don't know what's going to happen, but we were not concentrating for 7 innings, and we played 5 out of 7. And we've really done a better job of improving the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. We played better sometimes there, and I think that's been a big key as well. But when you work hard and you're unselfish, and I've said this before, we've got right now 19 kids that have accepted the role. They're making us better in practice, and they feel a part of this because they are a huge part of this, and that's every one of the players and managers.
In the state semifinals, Jasper nipped West Vigo 4-3 in come-from-behind fashion. The Cats scored first in the bottom of the first as Matt Kiefer scored on a wild pitch. West Vigo scored 2 runs in the fourth to take a lead as Rex Roach knocked in a run. The Vikings also had a sac fly in the inning as well. West Vigo then took a 3-1 lead in the top of the sixth on an RBI single by Kevin Kuhl. The Cats struggled against West Vigo pitcher Dan Kuffel until the bottom of the sixth. After 2 were out, the Cats rallied. Phil Schwank walked. Ben Schmidt then roped a double, putting runners at second and third. Brandon John then cleaned the bases with a 2 RBI double to right center field. The Vikings could not handle the ball cleanly in the outfield. Terry Gobert kept John running from third. He scored on the play, giving Jasper a 4-3 lead. Mark Sager, who pitched out of a jam in the fifth by striking out 3 West Vigo hitters with runners in scoring position, then retired West Vigo in order in the seventh to nail down the win and send the Cats to the title game. Plymouth was the opposition as the Cats gunned for yet another state title. Jasper took on the Pilgrims at beautiful Victory Field. Jasper scored 2 in the top of the second as Chris Schmidt singled sharply to left field to chase home Brandon John, who singled to start the inning. Schmidt later scored on a Neil Giesler base hit. Jasper added 3 in the fourth. Jason Wolf led off the inning with the base hit. That was followed up by a Chris Schmidt single. Mark Sager then walked. Reggie Hayes then lifted a sacrifice fly to center field to plate the first run. Matt Kiefer then singled. Phil Schwank had an RBI single as well. The Cats were on their way. It was 5-0. Jasper then tacks 3 more on in the fifth. Reggie Hayes drives in a run with a laser to left field. Giesler also had a big RBI in the inning as well. Mark Sager was cruising on the mound. He was helped in the fifth with a nifty 5-2-3 double play to snuff out a potential Pilgrim uprising, keeping the shutout alive. Sager would leave in the top of the sixth inning as the potential winning pitcher. The Pilgrims would score their only 3 runs in the bottom of the sixth, but they could have picked up more had it not been for the defensive gem turned in by Jasper left fielder Ben Schmidt. He caught a foul ball down the left field line by having to deal with the bullpen mound. He made the catch and then fired a perfect strike to catcher Brandon John to nail a Plymouth runner at the plate. The Cats added some insurance in the seventh as they got 2 more runs for senior right-hander Phil Schwank, who was now on the mound trying to close it down. He did as Mike Scott flew out to center field to end the game. Plymouth actually out-hit the Wildcats 9-8. Mark Sager picked up his second win in as many nights on the hill. Coach Terry Gobert said Sager's work was one of the keys.
Sager was just absolutely awesome. His breaking ball was working. We really didn't know what we'd get out of him. After throwing last night, he doesn't bounce back normally real well. And I thought the first inning was a key, the 4-pitch inning, and built the confidence. But it's a shame he didn't have a little more left because Phil Schwank deserves to be out there too. But Sager pitched a heck of a ball game.
With the victory, the Wildcats finished the great season at 30-6, and as usual, Jasper played well down the tournament trail.
Kurt, I said it a couple different ways. I said I think we've improved tremendously from the beginning of the season, from middle of May when we brought up the freshmen, Ben and Chris Schmidt. They added a new dimension to our game. They have a lot of speed, and then the improvement from the end of the season to throughout the tournament. We got better than any team I ever had the week of that practice week before the sectional. We really worked extremely hard in the heat, and I knew we were on to something good.
I thought that some of the older guys picked it up as well late in the season and led your guys very well.
Right, you know us well enough. Our leadership was not there, and it wasn't what they weren't trying. They just didn't know what to do, and they just kind of took charge. Schwank really grew up for us, and he pitched pitched us here. He wasn't his sharpest last night, but
Once again, congratulations to Coach Gobert and the rest of the baseball Wildcats. This has been 27 minutes for another week here on WJTS UPN 27. For the entire UPN 27 crew, I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Have a great weekend.